Welcome once again to another Bay Area housing training video. My name is James Green. I am your host. And today what we're going to be learning is how to edit a video on YouTube. So this applies to any type of video, whether it's a seller testimonial that has some extra information at the beginning or the end that you don't want to keep, or whether it's a walkthrough for a house, etc. This subject is actually really in-depth and intense, so I'm just going to give you like skimming the surface type thing, and you can take some of these ideas and just play with them. It's pretty user-friendly on YouTube. So the first thing you want to do is log into Ruth Ann Jones, and the information is on our password document for what the password is. Going to youtube.com, and this is assuming you already know how to upload the video. There are other training videos in the classroom that'll show you about getting videos uploaded or attached to the website, so you can see those for that. Then you want to go to the video manager. Here's the video manager. In fact, there's a video right there that shows you how to upload. So let's say, for example, that here's Todd W., his testimonial, and let's say we wanted to cut some things off that were at the beginning, just for example. So what I'm going to do is go up here to the video editor, and then choose what file I'm going to edit. Notice the cursor changes to an arrow showing that you can move this up, down, left, or right. So once it changes to that, click and drag it down to the timeline, which I'd already done yesterday. So let me get rid of one of these. Quick overview of what you're seeing here. On the left side, this is all of the video clips that you have that are your videos on YouTube. So that's why I said you had to upload a video first, because otherwise, if you don't have it on there, then it won't show up. Over here on the right side is like a preview window showing what your video is going to look like, and it helps you kind of see where it's at. Down here is really the most important part. This is a timeline. Everything they do in video editing is visually oriented. It helps you do editing visually. So you can see this is a timeline. Here's the video shown on the timeline. Here's 0, and that's where it's actually starting at. This little red thing is showing you this is where your play button is set at. See how it's at 0? And you can also see that corresponds to your preview window. That is at 0 as well. And so right now you can see that this video that I have is 1 minute and 27 seconds long, so from left to right. And then it shows you little clips along the way just to give you an idea of what's there, which is especially helpful to give you a reference point of what you're looking at when you have a video that has a lot of different types of things. Not as obvious here because this guy is just talking the whole time. So another part of this timeline is the audio file down here, and it also as well corresponds with this left to right being 0 to 1 minute and 27 seconds. But you can see right now there's nothing here. It just says drag audio here to add background music. One other toolbar that I forgot to mention is this toolbar up here. These are like your tool belt, your toolbar you're used to in Microsoft Word, etc. to give you different things. Right now, it's a little hard to tell, but right now this one is what is selected, my videos. And so that's what's showing up in this window. So whatever you have selected up here is what is going to show up in this window. So if I click on the little musical notes, it brings up all of this music that I can choose from, and then I can go and choose from a different category, whether it's classical music or electronic, or if I want to go and search by artist. And then whatever you choose there, will show up in this window. So once I sample something, preview it, let's say I like it, say okay, let's give this a shot. So you move till your cursor changes to that up, down, left, right, click and drag it right onto the timeline, and there you go. Now whenever you click play, that will actually play if I didn't have it muted. So that's pretty much it. Let's go back here for now, and you can see I can actually drag this to any point on the video that I want to go to, and see it drags it right here too, 18 seconds, and then this is about 18 seconds. So like I said, we're going to cut something off at the beginning of this just as an example. If you're familiar, one good point of reference is if you think of this somewhat as the copy and paste type cutting functions of Microsoft Word, what you would do with text, think of that in the form of this is what you're going to be doing with video. So what I'm going to do here, I clicked on this video clip to select it. Now you can see it's got these little brackets around it. So in order for me to clip it out or to cut off the beginning of it, all I'm going to do is just drag it a little bit to the right. Now notice on the right side over here, the preview window, as I'm doing that, it's actually changing the beginning point from 0 to 2. Notice how I drug that. So let's say that's where I wanted it. So in order to know where that it's at the right spot, let me unmute here because you probably need to hear this. Then I can now test it and see, is this really where I want to begin?
Ruth Ann and everybody, all her.
Let's listen to it from the beginning.
Ruth Ann and everybody.
You see, he starts with the word Ruth Ann, so that's not a good place to start. So I'm going to drag it back to the left. Let's go all the way to 0. And let's just see what he's going to start out saying here.
I'd just like to personally say thank you to Ruth.
Alright, well, first of all, this is not a good example video because there's nothing really that needs to be cut off. But just hear the general things that I'm saying is that you can sit here and listen to and figure out, well, where do I want this to start?
I'd just like to personally say thank you to Ruth Ann and everybody, all her associates and everybody that works for her.
So let's say I was like, okay, well, I really want to start at 7 seconds. I don't need all that stuff. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to drag this to the right until the preview window over there says that it's at 7 seconds. Now I'm going to release the button, and you can see that there's a tiny little icon here of a scissors, which is the same thing as cut. It's going to cut now this part that's selected, and that's what's going to be your video clip if I saved it right now. You can also drag the end. Let's check the end.
Her company. So thank you very much.
Okay, well, that was actually cut off pretty good, but if we wanted to stop it at 1:19, then I can just drag this side, and then you can see the preview window to the right is showing that it's going to end at 1:21. So there's the basics of how to just cut the end off left and right. Couple other quick things: if you have several video clips that you want to put together into one video file, you can see right now I just have this one clip. Well, let's say I wanted to take this one and put it right beside it. So that's what I do. I just visually drag it right beside it, and then that's what it does. And let's hit play. Actually, let me click down here, bring up our transport, clicking down here. And I want to scoot this so I can see how it's going to transition from the first clip to the second one. So it's drug right here, puts us at 1:10. And right now it's this music. You can see I had it set to only music. I'm going to change it from favoring music. We're going to have equal, that's saying it's going to be equal music loudness to how loud the audio is on here. So you can play with that.
She handled my short sale.
Still way too loud.
She handled my short sale in my house back.
So back to the transition. It's just real choppy. If you notice, it just cuts real abruptly from. I'm gonna mute this dude. I mean, this music is annoying. Alright, so moving this here.
But, I mean, hats off to him. I don't know what I would.
It just cuts off really abruptly. I'm going to get rid of this music because it's just in the way right now. So they have what's called transitions, and that's what this little toolbar is. And in the same way, you can just drag a transition. This one's called a crossfade. And so now you have 3 clips that are equaling your video. The first one, the transition, and then this clip right here. So let's just preview a little bit here and see how this is going to work. I'm dragging the bar there and hit play.
Very important they return that in a timely manner so they can continue to do what they need to do. But, I mean, hats off to them.
There, see, that was just a much more smooth transition into this other video. And so you can change all of these things and just think visually. It's like, well, this is only lasting this long. I want it to be longer. So you just make it longer. You just drag it over there. And it'll automatically move everything around so that you can have a longer transition if that's what you want. If you don't like the transition, just get rid of it, put in something else. Try a few different things. You've got all kinds of crazy stuff here. You can have a little heart come through, whatever. It's the kind of stuff major movie companies use. The last toolbar I want to look at is you can put text over top of things, and it works the same way. If you want to put text here, if you want it to be on top of the thing, there's how you do it.
She handled my short sale in my house.
Type in what you want. There's a couple different options. I really encourage you, don't be afraid of messing something up. Just come in here and just start clicking around. This is how I learned it. You just go and play with it. You know, you can do this. You can do this. Don't let this stuff intimidate you. It doesn't matter if you don't have to understand everything about it. Just play with it and have fun with it and see what happens. The main thing is just don't let fear grip you. I find so often that people feel like that because they don't understand stuff, it just freezes them in fear and they're afraid of messing something up. And I just release you from all that fear. You can get in here, you can play, you can mess stuff up. You know, be a kid like you're playing in the sandbox and just trash the stuff, you know. Who cares? It's alright. So, you know, you can put stuff at the end too, at the beginning. So, let's see, anything else you want to focus on here? No, we don't want to do any this kind of stuff. So yeah, so there's the basics of it. Oh, here's one other thing. If you want to change how big your timeline is, if it gets really long, this is kind of zooming in and out on the timeline so you can see real specifically. Notice I really zoomed in really far so that now about the first 5 inches here is only 4 seconds of the video, 7 seconds of the video. So if I want to see the whole thing, I got to drag all the way to the across here. So I like to have it where I can at least see the whole thing most of the time. So dragging until the whole video is in the window. One other thing you may want to play with is here's some ways you can enhance in each individual clip. If the video is turned wrong, this lets you rotate it. These are different effects you can put on it if you want it to be like a black and white or some other crazy looking thing. And this also is a way to put text on there. So there's a basic overview of how to do the video. Oh yeah, sorry, I keep thinking I'm ending. But to save it, make sure you save it. It does remember your last thing, but I don't know if I would trust that. I would just save it. Save, put it whatever name you want here, and then click publish, and then it'll be done. So, I mean, you can always bring it back later. Alrighty then. There's how some basic editing can be done in YouTube. And if you have any questions, just contact me. I'm glad to help. Talk to you later.